Hey, everybody, welcome to What a Day in the Ring. I'm your host, Joe WhattaDay Lowry. Want to thank you all for tuning in live and on the replay. Haven't been solo in a while, so we're breaking out to new pastures and all that good stuff. So I want to welcome everybody. So this is it. How's everybody's WrestleMania hangover doing? I mean, I got to tell you, it's been a long week catching up after that show of shows. I got to tell you, lots to talk about. Not necessarily with the WrestleMania part, but I do want to extend a thank you to Sports Kita. They allowed me to come on there. I was a guest host with two wrestling greats, Bill Apter and, of course, Mr. Vince Russo. And both nights we told it like it is. Whether we were happy, mad, glad, or sad about WrestleMania, either way, we gave it our all, and the numbers were staggering. So thank you very much. Over 50,000 of you tuned in to watch the post WrestleMania show. So that was very, very exciting. And I want to thank everybody for that. So WrestleMania come and gone. It's over now. A couple of things I do want to talk about. Let me just pull up some stuff here. I know we're going to talk about we're going to be talking about the elephant in the room, so to speak, the AEW footage that they aired last night, which was kind of crazy. I'm not a big proponent of what happened last night, but we'll get into that in a second. I'm just trying to find my notes on the other thing here. Here we go. All right, so let's kick it over to WWE side of things. What in God's name happened with this Triple H era and so forth? You know, let's digress. Friday Night SmackDown, they suggested a new era of WWE is here. And then you go to right after that, the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony kicked off with the headliner, who's usually the last person of the evening, but it kicked off with Paul Heyman. He was great. He had Undertaker-esque type comments as well as longevity. I think he spoke for over an hour. But he gave a lot of praise to Stephanie McMahon and, of course, Paul Triple H Levesque. And he pretty much summed it up by saying he is a Paul Levesque guy. And then fast forward to WrestleMania Night 1, Paul Levesque, Triple H, kicks off the night with the new era. You know, the new era. So we're all excited. Things are going down and all that. Fast forward to night 2. We're on to the last night of WrestleMania. Stephanie McMahon, Triple H's wife, comes out and welcomes us and says this is the Paul Levesque era. Again, we've reminded that it's the Paul Levesque era. And then on Monday night, you kick off Raw with, guess who else? Triple H, Paul Levesque, coming aboard, says welcome to the new era. So here we are in the Paul Levesque era. Now, WrestleMania, if you want to go back and watch the Sports Kita highlights, we told it like it is. Night 1 was so-so. Night 2, they hooked us again with the winning, with Cody Rhodes finally finishing the story. All was well in WWE land. Things are riding high. And then fast forward to Monday night, the Raw after Mania, which is supposed to be this big to-do. And it was nothing but nothing. And that's all I can tell you it was. I mean, to have The Rock and Cody Rhodes with that awkwardness, that stupid belt, I want to hold your belt. The Rock didn't even come out like The Rock that we were used to seeing since this past January. He came out very melancholy. We got the weird Rock, I guess. And then he goes and tells everybody that he's going away for a while. Well, guess what happens when you say that? The man who's setting all sorts of records for WWE, whether it's viewership, whether it's merchandise sales, whatever it is, to make it the all-time greatest WrestleMania ever and all these fantastic numbers. And he tells people 45 minutes into the show, even less than that he's going away for a while. So what happens? Most people probably turn the dial. You know what I mean? What is going on here? Just weird stuff. And then you end the hour that went commercial-free with Shinsuke Nakamura and an NXT guy. And nothing against Ilya Dragunov, but that's really not the time and place for an NXT debut. Never mind, he was one of 2. Roxanne Perez, the NXT Women's Champ, showed up later on. And after that, I swear to God, they just continued to drop the ball. No fallout from WrestleMania. There was absolutely nothing to do with anything in regards to WrestleMania except recognizing Damian Priest and the Judgment Day and so forth. Where was Becky? Where was Roman? Where was anything? This is the Raw after Mania. You want to go commercial free? Bring them all out at once. Shove it down our throat. But if this is truly the Paul Levesque era, I'm telling you, I've said it before, this era may be over sooner than you think. One date to keep in mind is May 14th, and I said this on the show the other night. May 14th is the drop dead date for John Laurinaitis and Vincent Kennedy McMahon to acknowledge and respond to the lawsuit by Janelle Grant that was filed this past January. So if anybody in that room knew what was going on, and lo and behold, Triple H, Stephanie, and the whole Bruce Pritchard and all those gang, I'm telling you right now, TKO, Ari Emanuel will clean house. They do not need this type of bad press. I don't care what Vince McMahon said. Good press, bad press, whatever press. This is not what they need right now. This Paul Levesque era. And now we're going to be going on SmackDown tomorrow night, Friday night on Fox. And what do? They have Bayley and Cody Rhodes. Again, we'll kick off Raw. I bet you there'll be no Roman, no Seth, no Becky, no nothing. Like, what is going on here with WWE? Nonetheless, that's my little gripe there. But if you want to go back over on Sportskeeda and check out those videos, they're doing astronomical. We told it like it is. We said what we saw, and we're sticking to the guns, and that's basically what it is. So, anyways, I want to thank Baby Cakes out there. Hey, Baby Cakes, thanks for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I haven't even gone over to the other side of things to see who's on there. Hey, everyone's commenting. What do we got here? Baby Cakes, it's better be good because some fans still talk about the Attitude Era and the TNA era, so this has got to be good. Yeah, I mean, who knows? We'll see what happens. I just don't like how it's starting out. I just don't like it. I think it's almost like a bait and switch. They baited everybody in. They finally got them. Raw had great numbers this past 2.1 million, something like that. They haven't had over 2 million viewers since COVID 2020, January of 2020, and that was a captive audience. So that tells you something. But nonetheless, they need to pick it up a notch. They need to do something to hook everybody back in, because right now no one's going to want to tune in to see nothing. So and there's a lot of people out there right now who are questioning the fact that Cody Rhodes is the champion. He finished his story. I've heard some people say we're going backwards and so forth. It depends on how they book Cody Rhodes. Let's see what they do with him. He is a babyface. Does he turn heel? Babyface don't last long as champions anymore. This isn't the Hulk Hogan, Bob Backlund, Bruno Sammartino era anymore. This is, in fact, the Triple H, Cody Rhodes era. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens on that. So, all right, moving on here. Let's see what we got going on here. So we've all talked about. Let me get myself out of the way here first, and I'm going to bring this up here. And there we are. All right, so here we go. CM Punk, Jack Perry. There he is. He's pushing, shoving, chokehold, all that good stuff. Let's talk about this for a little bit. I'm going to try and keep playing this over and over if I can, if it'll allow me. But nonetheless, what you see happening here is an altercation backstage at AEW's All In last August. That's right, 8 months ago. They're finally coming clean with this. I'll show it to you one more time. So CM Punk and Jack Perry had words. They got heated. CM Punk took it amongst himself. This Samoa Joe coming in, hook off to the left, didn't want nothing to do with it. Tony Khan off to the right, just worried about his monitor. And, and of course, CM Punk's telling him, you better take care of this. You better take care of this. And he told everybody there in the room. So I'll get rid of that now. So I'll show that in a second. So let's just talk about this a little bit. My take on this, first of all, the video doesn't feature any sound. Not really sure why. It's apparent that they secured the footage from Wembley Stadium security surveillance. The footage aired, did create a stir within the wrestling world, whether it's negative or positive feedback in the wrestling world. Nonetheless, we were all talking about it last night into this morning. I'm going to give you my take on it right now. I have a strong feeling. Some even suggested this, but I thought about this going to bed last night. This could be a work. I'm telling you right now, and hear me out on this. It's just a lot of things have irked me about the video. First of all, it was awkward to begin with the Young Bucks doing it. So let's talk about the timing of it. CM Punk just days ago was on a podcast, and he told us his side of the story. Exactly what happened in that video. CM Punk, in fact, told the truth. He said, this is what it was. There was no punches, there was pushes, and I choked the guy. And that's what he did. Then days later, we have AEW coming out. We're all got our WrestleMania hangovers. And all of a sudden, AEW Dynamite's going to show, the Young Bucks are going to show this video on Dynamite that will clear the air and tell everybody what really happened and so forth. Let's backtrack a few weeks ago. Samoa Joe commented on this a few weeks back, pretty much telling everybody what happened. He separated Perry and CM Punk. CM Punk had him in a little bit of a chokehold, and he let it go. That's exactly what happened. So this whole thing, it sounds like a work to me. There's just way too many moving pieces in place here. First off, did the WWE give AEW permission to show this video with CM Punk, a current WWE employee in here? You got to have that courtesy of, hey, we're going to be showing this video. Is it okay? We haven't heard yet if they found out about that. There's no timestamp on the video. There's no timestamps. There's no location stamps on it. So, say what you want. If you're going to put this into evidence in a court of law, you have to have some backup as to, is this really security footage? Where's all the timestamps and all that? So we're just left to assume that this is actual footage of the altercation. Another thing that I thought of, Sports Illustrated recently came out with a story on Nick Khan. Great guy. Said he's the current president and chief revenue officer of WWE, and he says they're willing to work with our other promotions. Timing is everything, right? Now, that incident did happen 8 months ago. Since then, there have been several rumors that have persisted about this with all these non-disclosure agreements and so forth. They've all been debunked. Everybody's talking about it now. Whatever agreements were in place, obviously, they're thrown by the wayside now. We don't know if this thing went to court. I strongly doubt it went to court because we'd have public record to be public knowledge of this. I don't see it. I think it's a work. I think the whole footage thing here is just... we'll go back and take a look at it again, but I'm telling you right now, I just don't agree with it. I feel that this is watch. There, no timestamp, no nothing. CM Punk said he pushed him, choked him out, all that. Samoa Joe, same thing. I come over. Tony Khan's worried about his monitor. Hook doesn't even want to get involved because he doesn't know what's going to happen. We can dissect this thing a million times. This happens so frequent backstage at wrestling events, you would be surprised. You would absolutely be surprised at this, what happens. A lot of wrestlers get backstage. Things get heated before and after matches. I understand. One thing that's going to show here is the incompetency that AEW's Tony Khan has. He has no control within his company. This kind of stuff does not happen in a professional environment. I've never known it to take place in WWE. Indie shows definitely, and all that good stuff. But I just do not see the WWE having altercations like this. And if they did, they would never allow it to get out. That's another thing. They would never allow it to get out. I don't know why they even think about getting out. But nonetheless, I feel strongly that this thing may be possibly a work. Now, we can go back 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when AEW started out. They were booming in popularity and so forth. Everybody was all excited. Cody Rhodes was there. Chris Jericho. Everybody was coming in. Lance Archer was doing his thing. The girls were getting their airtime and all that stuff. Britt Baker was on top of the world. They were averaging almost 1 million, if not 1 million plus viewers. And then COVID hit. And then something happened to AEW during COVID. Same thing with WWE. You can only go as far as what you're allowed to legally. Of course, we went into the Thunderdome era with WWE, and then, of course, Jackson's Place, Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. AEW decided to go ahead and perform there when had their wrestlers, their B roster. They were kind of like the crowd and all that stuff. So we had some weird things going on here. And I had a WhattaDay Wrestling Minute over on Bill Apter's One Wrestling channel, and I put it out there. Is the WWE and AEW in cahoots? Are they out there? They have to save the face of wrestling. Wrestling took a humongous hit during COVID. No live events, no live crowds, no house shows. Wrestlemania was a captive audience. Everybody suffered. TNA, NWA, some places folded up, didn't even last. A lot of indie places couldn't even perform. So you have to think about it. Did they try to come in cahoots, Vince and Tony Khan, and save professional wrestling, even though we were on that sports entertainment mecca? I had it in the back of my head. And I still feel to this day that there is some type of connection there with former WWE people always jumping ship going to AEW. It always lingers in the back of my mind of these guys in cahoots. But this video coming out last night, the timing, the lack of timestamps, the lack of location, anything like that, it just doesn't feel right. It was awkward. I know what they were trying to do. To me, it's just a glorified hype video for an upcoming pay-per-view match. That's all it looks like to me. But when you show a video like this, and then You have FTR come out after the video, and the crowd is chanting CM Punk's name on the supposed competitor's television show. That speaks volumes. Tony Khan makes a ton of mistakes in this. He's new to this. He's not a seasoned veteran like Vince and Bruce Pritchard's and those crew and all that stuff. I don't know if he's more of a mark or if he's more of a guy who just likes to do whatever he wants and let the inmates run the asylum. But this video being shown last night on AEW did absolutely nothing for AEW. And you're all going to say, oh, the ratings were great. That's great. The ratings were great. When they break these ratings down, let's see how many people turn the channel after they watch this video. Because I, for one, I turned it on hoping to see it firsthand, but they held us hostage. And then they put a little timer up in the corner saying 19, 18 minutes till the Young Bucks premiered the video and all that stuff. And it was just right then and there, it's a work. You're telling me that nobody knew this was coming out. CM Punk's comments on a couple of days before WrestleMania, Samoa Joe's comments a month before that, the timing of it, fresh off WrestleMania. I think it was Sunday night into Monday that AEW started dropping that, the Young Bucks are going to show the video on Dynamite, so you got to really wonder, is this a work? And I strongly think it is. I mean, not for nothing, nobody lied here. Nobody said anything about what was going on. CM Punk told the truth. Jack Perry told the truth. Now he's the scapegoat, and they called him the scapegoat last night. I saw that too as well with the Young Bucks, Nick and Nicholas Jackson and so forth. And they said that, we know about the scapegoat. And all of a sudden his t-shirt sell out last night. Nothing but a ploy to try and get this. I am sure come AEW Dynasty in a couple of weeks, I do believe it's April 21st, there will be a Jack Perry sighting either at the arena. There'll be a vignette film. There'll be something. You got to love the response by CM Punk. He put a picture up of Bush back during the Persian Gulf War saying mission accomplished. And that spoke volumes. I think he got 1 million hits right off the bat. But, you got to look at it like that. Baby Cake's chiming in again saying that Shaka Khan would be better at the help. Just saying, Shaka Khan. All these cons in the wrestling industry. It's got to be a coincidence. It has to be some type of coincidence. But nonetheless, it is what it is, folks. Elsewhere, they did do the ratings. I think it was 819,000 viewers that chimed in. That's great. Still not a major needle mover. Yeah, they did great in the demographic, but they also went up against 2 NBA end-of-season games, not even the playoffs yet, over on ESPN. They still came in third overall, but the hype was there. You have to look at it from this angle. I'm thinking, and the more I talk about it, it is a work. This whole thing, whatever happened backstage. And if it wasn't a work, then it was just something that was absolutely positively nothing to comprehend, because you didn't see Tony Khan running around his monitor to say what the hell's going on. He actually was protecting his monitor like, whatever, I'll let them handle it. Like, that's no way to run your company. You don't allow this to happen. Now, I showed you, if we bring the video up again real quick, here it is again. This is the short version. I kind of sped it up. It was about the whole length of the video was a minute and change. But really, I sped it up to like 35, 40 seconds into it. So people knew what was going on. Tony Khan knew and heard these guys having words. They were right in front of each other. Let me rewind it right there. He's right in front of Tony Khan's off to the right. You see referee Aubrey. They're all there. They knew something was going on. Samoa Joe comes over, did what he said. Hook wanted nothing to do with it. Notice how Samoa Joe was like pretty much the only wrestler there that interjected. This tells me it's a work. It just has work written all over it. And Tony Khan just worrying about his monitors and all that stuff. And I'll keep showing it, because if you, the more you watch it, the more you'll see. They're talking. Boom. Here we go. Samoa Joe at first was like, oh, they're pushing. And then he comes running over. I don't know who the guy in the red is. Obviously security and so forth. But again, I'm going to reiterate. Nowhere there is there a timestamp, a location, what was going on. I will take their word for it that it is Wembley Stadium backstage at All In. I'll take their word for it. I just don't feel that there wasn't enough proof there to say what. I hate to put it like this. They overpromised and underdelivered. They said, we got the goods. We're going to show you the goods. And what they showed us, what we already knew happened. And that's kind of bad. That's bad on AEW. No way to run a company. I just don't see it happening. ratings, whatever. We talked about it. Where do we go from here? FTR's fighting. Get a little of this. This is the whole fun, but this is all to build up. This is why the Young Bucks showed the video last night. This is all a build up for their pay-per-view match against FTR in 2 weeks at AEW Dynasty. Let's not forget, these two tag teams have been fighting since 2020. This is like their fourth meeting for tag titles. This is how desperate AEW is becoming now. They're becoming so desperate that they have to resort to these types of tactics. I hear it a lot in the industry. You want to get people to watch your show. You want to hook the viewer. You want to keep the viewer coming back. And this is what they do. This is what AEW is doing now. If you're telling me that Tony Khan is running his wrestling company the right way, I'd say you're not right at all. I think what's happening here is he is definitely letting the inmates run the asylum. I think that this EVP shtick between Nick and the Jacksons, whatever, the Young Bucks, I just think that their creative control is far-reaching than their wrestling ability. It's just they need to do something about this. It's just going to get worse. I don't think a lot of people are going to tune in next week. It's overkill. I'm dying to see if they show this stuff on Collision or Rampage because they're not going to be preempted this weekend due to the NCAA tournament being over. And, of course, Wrestlemania and all that stuff from the week prior. I just feel that the ratings are going to continue to plummet from here out. They'll get back down to the 700,000 range. They are not generating a newer audience. What they're doing is they're saying, okay, fans that are current fans of AEW, don't tell your friends about AEW, but we're going to show you this anyways. It just doesn't make sense. And it's too bad that we have to go down this road with AEW because they were a legitimate battle for WWE up until this past year. Something has gone wrong with AEW. I don't know what it is, but if you want to go back, it's going to have to start with this. This has left a bad taste in everybody's mouth, even in some wrestling industry experts. It's left a bad taste. There was no reason to show this footage. None whatsoever. I'm still scratching my head talking to the audience right now. Why is this happening? Why are they going to keep showing this footage? I just don't get it. Joe Myers, again, it's unfortunate in my opinion. AEW hasn't been okay since CM Punk was taken off the roster. That's correct. Mercedes Moné appearances are abysmal, all hype and no substance. You're absolutely right, Baby Cakes. She didn't move the needle at all. She hasn't moved the needle, and she's been on for 3-4 weeks now. And she's yet to compete. She's not competing until Dynasty. No, actually, she's not even competing. She's not competing until the end of May. What kind of money is Tony Khan throwing at these people? And to find out, she's making $4 to $5 million a year. She's been under contract since December, and she has not wrestled once for AEW, Mercedes Moné. That makes absolute zero sense. If they really wanted to repair themselves from last night, they would have had Mercedes Moné. Forget that stupid video they put out with the lights going out and all that stuff, which was horrible, by the way. Absolutely horrible. Horrendous camera work. I was more concerned, like, who is controlling the camera here? Because this is just ridiculous. Nonetheless, I digress. They need to put Mercedes Moné in the ring well before Dynasty, well before Double or Nothing, because this is just, quite frankly, it's not living up to the hype. AEW is overpromising and under-delivering, similar to a timeshare, which we'll talk about that next week. But this is just not working out for AEW. They need to change course. I don't know what kind of writers they have writing. I do know there was a former WWE writer. I forget her name, but she jumped ship. She left WWE, went over to AEW. I don't know if this is her work or not, but this is just absolutely insane. I just don't understand it. I just don't get it. I really wish AEW would pay attention and stop. Tony Khan put a tweet out today saying he was so happy with the ratings and so forth, but he didn't mention the total number of viewers. He was just talking about demographics. You see where they're going with this. They just want to keep their 18 to 49 audience, and that's it. They don't want nobody new. They don't want to recruit new fans, and that's a shame. That's an absolute shame. But that's going to do it for me, folks. 25 minutes of I told you I was coming on live tonight. Test run here for the WhattaDay in the Ring report. We're going to have more substance, more stuff coming at you. The Paul Levesque era, as we harped on earlier in the show, Metz. We'll see what happens on SmackDown tomorrow night, but it doesn't look promising. And I had mentioned this in my newsletter with Sports Kita that goes out every Wednesday, courtesy of Bill Apter. Every Wednesday, and I said everybody last week, what are we going to do after WrestleMania when The Rock leaves? We're going to have that hangover. You know, the Rock was rocking for 3 months, and now the Rock has retreated, and he's gone for a few months. So now what? What happens now? You know, are we going to spend the rest of our time hyping up SummerSlam with a potential Rock versus Cody Rhodes, which means who's Cody going to fight in the meantime? Where's Roman Reigns? Where's Seth Rollins? I know he's taking a month off, but you got to keep these guys fresh and relevant because that is what you're getting. These are what the fans pay to see, and right now they're AWOL. So it'll be nice to see Bayley get her recognition tomorrow night on SmackDown. We'll see Cody Rhodes again. I don't know what else is lined up. They don't usually release that stuff until tomorrow. Going back to Raw real quick, the Jade Cargill match, a squash match with Chelsea Green. I heard that was supposed to be on right after The Rock and Cody Rhodes, but they went over their time limit. What else is new? And they inserted the Dragunov Shinsuke match. So nonetheless, Triple H era is upon us. The Paul Levesque era is upon us. The What a Day in the Ring report era is upon us. That's right, folks. More content coming your way. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Baby Cakes, I love you out there. You're my biggest fan. And we're gonna be going live a lot more. You're gonna see a lot of Joe WhattaDay Lowry on this channel, as well as Facebook and all the other social media sites. So tune into that. But nonetheless, we got some exciting things coming in. Hey, feel free to subscribe and like this page. Hit that little subscribe button down there. It's real easy. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. That way you can get notified when I go live. But nonetheless, I want to thank everybody for tuning in live and watching on the replay. And that's gonna end it for me, folks. And yeah, I think that'll do it. You guys have a great night. Take care. I'm Joe Lowry. What a day.